You are on with Abiola Abrams. And today, actually, rather than Spiritpreneur School broadcast, we are having a bit of a self love sermon. I've been getting a lot of messages from you guys lately about haters, criticism, and judgment. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. And this is not a frivolous conversation, because as you and I know, the biggest thing that is holding you back from being the woman or man that you want to be, person you want to be, is usually, fear, self-sabotage, our own issues, which very often tend to be wrapped up in some semblance of what will other people think of me? What will I think of me, right? Haters, criticism, and judgment. We were actually talking about this in one of my coaching groups. And as I said, this is an important conversation. To me, these three different things, which may seem like the same thing, haters, criticism, and judgment, are actually three very different things. And so we're going to talk a little bit about each one and what the best way is to deal with them. Now, for all of the people who are watching this going, I don't care what anybody thinks of me, I don't give a F. There's a whole, how many Fs can you give? I don't give any Fs kind of movement. And for me, I see myself as, an empathic, introverted warrior goddess. So I actually do care about the world. I am empathetic and compassionate toward other people's feelings. So having I'm not going to care about anything or anyone approach wouldn't work for me, because you can't turn off certain feelings without turning off others. What you can do is have healthy boundaries and realize that you give people the power. If you are, let me rephrase that Eleanor Roosevelt put it best when she said, no one can insult you basically without your consent. Now that is a very different place to come from, you see, versus the I don't care what anybody thinks of me, which is very defensive. The people who say things like that usually tend to be the people that care the most. Now, why do we care so much what other people think? A few different reasons. We are, as human beings, we're not meant to do this life alone. We are tribal beings. And so it would make sense, especially back in the days when the tribe had to survive, that everybody was, towing the party line, and you felt comfortable and putting your head down next to the next person so that they wouldn't be slicing it off during the night. And so there had to be a certain degree of conformity. Another reason, a lot of us are people pleasers. I have fought the disease to please, and I'm happy to say that I'm on the back side of it, on the healthier side of it these days. But I still have my people pleasing moments, where I have to check myself and be like, no. So having strong boundaries, strong with our yeses, strong with our nos, and feeling good about it in our skin, always asking what is the most self-loving choice that I can make, is very important for those of us who are recovering people pleasers. And then another reason why haters, criticism, and judgment come into play. A lot of us are very judgmental ourselves. And so we know how brutal we can be. And so then we fear that everyone else is judging us. The truth is, people are worried about their own stuff. And so whatever little bit of judgment that they cast your way is usually nothing, unfortunately, compared to how they're ripping themselves apart. But we really have to look at our own judgment, because I have experienced in my life, the more that I am willing to release judgment, the more fearless I become. And I'm able to fear a little less every day. Now, again, beware of anyone who says, I'm not judgmental, because they usually are the most judgmental of all. I know that have been a judgmental person, am a judgmental person, and it's something that I'm working on. I'm a work in progress. I judge people right and left. I judge people when they are late to show up for appointments. I judge people when they are half-assing it, when they don't do what they say that they're going to do. I have tremendous amounts of judgment, and I'm dealing with it. I am working on it. and remembering that, that everybody is traveling their journey, but being a little bit less judgmental on your own side of the street helps you to remember that other people's judgment doesn't matter, that they don't have any power over you. So, okay, so haters, criticism, and judgment. Criticism, let's begin with that. Criticism can be very healthy. Unfortunately, a lot of people who set themselves up as critics don't know the difference between healthy and unhealthy criticism. It depends, again, who are you giving power over your life? Are you asking people to believe in you who don't even believe in themselves? Because see, that's a problem. Are you asking people to love you who don't even love themselves? So, it depends, again, for me, for example, I'm a columnist, as you know. I am a coach, a columnist, a speaker, a TV personality. And so there are a lot of times where, my whole business is interactive with other people and having other people's feedback come in different areas in different ways. That I write a column and then it's out there in the world with my real name and real face, and then anonymous people can comment and say what they think. Do I read the comments? It depends on the arena. Again, on social media, yes, absolutely. I'm willing to have any dialogue with anyone. On my Essence column, yes, I am willing. Usually I read the comments, comment back, and, schedule willing, of course, and I'm willing to have a dialogue because it's usually a more interactive and I don't want to say engaged audience, but it's not an anonymous audience. On the Huffington Post, however, love being a Huffington Post columnist, but it's an anonymous audience of faceless people. And I'm there with my real face, my real opinions. And so I don't need to dialogue with people who may or may not be who they say they are, and trolls and that sort of thing. So if there is a big article, a big piece that goes viral within the Huffington Post network that can be kind of provocative in nature, I won't read the comments. I just don't feel that need. And actually on my own site a few years ago, I turned off the comments as well, just because there are only but so many hours in the day and but so many places to engage. So I love engaging with my tribe. And and so on Twitter, on Facebook, and on Instagram, let's talk all day. Now, when people leave me something that I feel, because I am a sensitive person, people leave me something that I feel like doesn't add to any conversation and is just something that is just straight up negative, I don't engage with them. And that is so freeing. I see people all the time arguing with strangers. Well, I think this and you think that, and why'd you say? Who cares? You don't know that person. They're not putting food on your table. You're not helping me untwist my hair. So what do I care? So those kinds of situations, I just don't get into them. I used to back in the day, and it's so freeing not to. I used to get into why, I used to care so intensely what each and every person thought. Now I don't care. I just delete and block. And trolls, internet trolls, usually what they want is that they want the interaction. They want to be able to fight with you. They want to be able to cause confusion and havoc and see you upset. Please, you're much too cute for that. I'm much too cute for that. So we don't do that. Delete and block and move on. What would a queen do? She's not gonna, to quote to quote a reality TV goddess, I will not come off my chariot and throw tomatoes with you. No. Why? Now, the reason why criticism, often, if it is coming from a harmful place, if it's not constructive criticism, which is something positive, like, okay, you don't need to use so many commas or whatever it is, that's constructive criticism. Harmful criticism is stuff like, oh, your hair looks bad or whatever. Now, usually when that hits us in a for real place, it's because we somehow believe it, or it's something we've been using to tear ourselves apart. So, for example, today, I don't use the term bad hair day anymore because I don't believe in bad hair days, but I do have unruly hair days, and I'm having one today where my hair is just not doing what I want it to do. There's stuff that is happening. It's just not a happy hair day, but it's an unruly hair day. And I'm fine with that. I have beautiful hair. I love it. But there are days where it just doesn't work out. C'est la vie. Now, if I walk down the street and somebody said something critical to me about my hair, on a good day, who cares? But if someone said something today, I may be a little bit more sensitive to it because I may have I may be stepping into the situation with my own issues and challenges and doubts, self-doubt, and all of those kinds of things. And so here's why you really want to shore up that self-love muscle with self-care and self-adoration. And so then all of that stuff just bounces off you. You can laugh at it. Last year, I remember that this man said to me on the train, he said, "Is your hair like that every day, or is it just like that for Halloween?" Something like that would have devastated me in the past. I either would have said something nasty to the man, I would have had an attitude, I would have been upset. And this time I was able to look at him, realize he was an idiot, and laugh about it. Because it's like, have you seen me? Really? That's your own ignorance, and I was able to just deflect it, bounce off of it, and keep going on with my life. So there are different ways that we can react, and always remember that the way that you react is a choice. When people say, I had to curse that person out, or I had to punch that person in the face, never, never, ever. You're human, but it is always a choice how you react. It is always a choice how you react, no matter what. All right, so dealing with judgment, we spoke about. We spoke about being judgmental. And dealing with judgment. We spoke about criticism. Now, haters, I say are a little bit different, because it took me a long time to realize that there are some people that just aren't going to like you, and some people that just won't wish you well, and some people that will wish bad on you. I never thought that to be true in my little sunny mind and background. I really didn't realize that to be true. Like, I always justified, even when I was getting bullied and all of that, I always felt like I had compassion for the bullies. I felt like they were just ignorant. True story. I remember people saying to me, "Go back to Africa." My family is from Guyana, South America. Yes, we were from Africa previously, but it's like, if I'm going back to Africa, you come with me too. It's a glorious place. Let's go together. I remember standing and trying to educate anyway, a group of bullies, and being like, "Well, actually, we're all from Africa," and blah, 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 and this and the other. So it was a blow to me when it hit me. I was in my 20s when it hit me that, some people just don't wish the best for you. And I've seen this recently. I saw these women in a forum, two different forum circumstances. One was that these women were talking about some woman, some hair blogger who they didn't believe it was her real hair, and they were going to get in her hangout to see what she was saying about her hair and blah, blah, blah. And they had a whole long 4-page thread about it. Why are you so involved in this woman's hair? And they actually went to her Google Hangout, like, to hate watch her, to participate in her tribe. And it just seemed really odd to me that people would be that invested in something, in hating someone. The other thing was, a similar situation, but this was a paid forum for another guru who does things much like I do, amazing coach who I admire what she does, and I'm part of her work and a part of her forum. And these people were paying to be a part of her community, and were on another community bad-mouthing her. And I was like, wow, look at that. Look at that. But it's really remembering that no weapon formed against you can prosper. That you are magic. You really are. Science still cannot figure out all the functions of our bodies and our brains and, our minds. It's just amazing what we are. And so letting any earthly person be against you and have it affect you really, really is ridiculous when we think about it. There are people who we care about, whose opinions matter. I care about my mom. I care about my dad. I care about my sister. I care about my brother. I care about my family. I care what they think. I care about their opinions. Their opinions are not always constructive. And so I have to know what to take and what to toss. Their opinions are not always fun. If you know any Caribbean people, they will give it to you straight, no chaser. I went to see my uncle, on his hospital deathbed, dying of cancer and diabetes. He told me I was fat. At the time I was devastated, but then it hit me. He was right. I was fat. And if I didn't want to be there, in 60 years, I needed to do something about it. So, you know, there is constructive criticism. There are things that we need to take into account, especially those of us who are sensitive. We need to be able to tell the difference and learn how to gauge, you know, and choose our reactions. But then there is also remembering that no matter what, that you are, you know, connected to the same force that created the oceans and the trees. And, you know, please, if the sun be for you, then who dare be against you? All right, so this conversation has already been much too long, but we've been talking about haters, criticism, and judgment. You can pick up your free self-worth kit at ownyourbombshell.com, ownyourbombshell.com, and I will see you soon. Namaste. The sacred bombshell in me sees, adores, and accepts the sacred bombshell in you. Oh, and if you haven't already subscribed to Spiritpreneur School on iTunes, then you're going to want to do that. All right. Ciao, ciao.